what's your name again?
Larry.
Larry, he's a broker in the area.
And Larry also has the most beautiful house on the block. He lives on this block.
Right. So we're gonna let him maybe talk a little bit about this, and I don't know, maybe if he can confirm some of the stuff that we looked at, but I think that one of the things that we saw was that either you have big homes, old homes in good condition, right? Or you jump into new construction. There's nothing in the middle, kind of. I saw when I was looking at the market, I was looking, when Bruce approached me for this house, I was looking and they had a totally different ARV, right? And when I looked at the map, I saw that there were a lot of old homes in very good condition and they were selling for about, 600,000 average, right? And then they will jump to over 1 million. That they were, will be, new construction. So that's fine. So, but, they will jump to 1.1, 1.3, 1.4, depending, there you have up to 5,000 square feet homes that, are asking 1.3, 1.4, right? So, but there was nothing on the middle, right? I would say between the 800 or 700 and a half to that 1 million, there wasn't anything in between. So there wasn't rehab homes. Okay, it was either old in really good condition, obviously, the area, the owners here, they maintain it really well, they do new kitchens, but it wasn't a full-blown rehab per se, compared to what some of the stuff that we do. So from there, we'll jump to new construction. So that's where we thought that we can feed in that between, because we were not gonna be 100% new construction, but we're gonna be about 80 to 90% new construction. So, but in the beginning, we were not thinking doing as much work as this. We thought about doing something smaller, just adding to the existing structure only. But then, when we were looking at the area and the square footage of some of these houses, the ones that at least were selling for over 1 million, they're, you're looking over 3,000 square feet. So that's why definitely we were looking to go to that square footage. And we were close in the beginning, so we were like, just adding up, we were about, I think, 25 to 27, so we were not really far. We did, we did need a garage anyway, because this house doesn't have one. So, so everything, obviously came to the point that we said, we thought we could push it a little bit more to 3,000 square feet anyway. So, and I think that we can still probably, being conservative, we can still look under 1 million and we can still, make a pretty nice profit on the house, right? So we think that, if we're able to, I think the market's gonna keep improving, and, some of the neighbors are, like the guy in the corner, he sold practically before he was even finished, or like he's actually under contract before he was even finished. So he did a great job. But then you see some other homes that is not far away from here, to about 2 blocks, that they're already finished, they've been in the market for a little while, and they haven't got a contract yet. So you gotta look at both things and see, they're both big homes, but they're built differently. The craftsmanship per se of both homes are different, and you can see how fast one sold and the other one seemed still gonna sell, because it's a good area and it's Wilmette, but there's a difference that you have to see on these houses when you're doing this kind of work. You're putting that much money into it, which is to see how you can improve that time on the market, or no time on the market if possible. You know what I mean? So, and one of the things that includes is obviously the marketing also that we do for the property from the beginning. Okay, so this is more or less of what you can see in the area. These are just averages. So that's what that's what we were looking at. That most of the average homes that was the price that we're selling, because these are big homes, but well, not so big, some of them are not that big, but, just the pricing of the areas around there, 700, 600 to 800, 850 or so, okay? So, but at the same time, you can see that the square footage, the price per square footage as an average is about $340, right? So, so obviously, if you increase that square footage, that's where we see our profit, okay? These are some of the comps that I ran, a few weeks back. So this is not, fully updated. I don't know if this is still on the market or not. But this was about 3,700 square feet in this area, and it was on the market for 1.2. Again, I didn't check today and see if they, if they sold already, because this was a few weeks back. This other home is a beautiful home too. Also about this is a little bit bigger than what we're gonna be. It's about 4,000 square feet. They're probably counting the basement, I would think, right? It's because it looks like a 3,000, but so they're probably counting the basement and asking about 1.7, 1.1. This is another one that I was talking about. It was recently finished. It's about 2 blocks away from here, and they were asking about 125. And it's not showing the square feet in here, but they're a little bit over 3,000. And then this is one of the neighbors here, and this is the same block. It's about actually three or four
houses down,
yes. Houses down. So installed a few months ago, about 6-7 months ago, or a little bit more than that. Yeah, a little bit more than that. So for 1.1 in September of last year. Okay, so and this was actually the first home that I saw when I came to check out this house. So we walk around the neighborhood, and now with internet, you can check some of these homes online right away and see what they sold for. So that's what we do. So we walk around and we'll go and just kind of looking and see what they sold for, and kind of get an idea, a feel of the neighborhood, right? So, and that obviously, this home, if you still can see pictures of the inside online. So you see some of how they built the property and how the craftsmanship inside, and it's pretty basic for $1 million home, to be honest with you. So I mean, so that's what gonna encourage us to go for that size, because when we saw this house, it's a beautiful house. Don't get me wrong, but I think that for $1 million homes, they could have put a little bit more work into it, right? So it was pretty basic for what they got for this home. Okay, so definitely we're thinking about doing more than what they did in there, but it's pretty much the same model. Except for we're going to be building on top of that garage, probably about 60% on top of the garage. So, which is going to give us a pretty nice big bedroom in there. And this is another one that sold in April of this year. About the same thing, 3,600 square feet. Different type of home, right? But I'm just looking at the square footage compared to what we're gonna do, okay? And they sold for a little bit lower than $9 million, so they sold for 128, probably because it wasn't completely outdated. It wasn't completely updated. I'm sorry. And it's a little bit of older home. So the new construction, obviously, it always goes a little higher than regular homes. Even if it's been rehabbed, new construction always going to be priced a little bit higher than rehab homes. Okay. So this is some of the numbers that we're looking in this home, and this is, we're working with. After you see some of those comps, you can see that we're working with conservative numbers. So we originally got this home for 305, and we were thinking about putting about 300 on that second story addition. But now we're not only doing the second story addition, but we're doing back addition as well, okay, because we're going back about 18 feet, okay, so because that's the way that we can increase the square footage, okay, so so obviously we're gonna spend a little bit more than 300, and but we're expecting a little bit more than the estimated price that we were thinking about. But being conservative, not trying to push for the top pricing of the area, I think we definitely can get between 850 to 950 in this neighborhood. And after, even if we're thinking about probably we spend an extra 80 grand with the extra stuff that we're thinking about putting. So it's not gonna be a big difference, but I think at the end, we can still make a profit of about 150 to 200. Because we have a couple homes, new construction homes in the area, they're in the market and they're, selling now, so it will be, I think, good comps, and it will improve our pricing as well, okay? So, and most of the guys that are doing, most of the construction companies or developers, however you wanna call them, they're doing really nice work in the area, so definitely are improving the price in the area as well, okay? So, it's gonna be about 6 months construction, but right now we have about another month and something or 2 months waiting for the city to approve the plans. So right now, that's why we still haven't, it's still the same way as we bought it, so we haven't touched it yet, just waiting for the city to approve all the plans. And that's another thing that you have to have in mind, some of the cities, and you can find out from before you get the house actually. You can go to the village and ask them about their process and their time and see how long do they take to do this stuff. So you can kind of get an idea of, how long you need to wait to kind of get that.
How long ago did you guys buy
That's
this
right.
property? How long ago did you guys buy this property?
We're about what, a month away, a month and a few days.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna have another 2 months before we can start. So, by the time that we're finished, we're gonna be right inside the winter, which, is gonna be another, bummer, but, it's stuff that we gotta deal with. So, so that's why we are conservative on the numbers. We gotta make sure that, even in the winter, you have to sell for a good.
I guess the 6 months that you're saying, is that 6 months from when you bought it, or 6 months from when
No,
you
for
started?
construction. For construction, and we're looking to do it faster than that. But no, I mean, since I bought, it's gonna probably be about 9 months,
Okay.
okay? Sorry, you.
That was my question.
Okay, yeah, so no, it's gonna be about 9, and then, like we said, we're gonna hit the winter, so,
Right.
hopefully that doesn't affect the market time. But, we are going to do pre-marketing, pre-sale, finish marketing, so, we're gonna start early and try to get our buyers before we're even done, so. That way, we'll put some incentives to the buyers, maybe, let them pick some of the colors or, cabinetry
Finishes,
if they get here before we do that, okay? So, obviously, we gotta maintain that timeline, so, but if they get, to us before we are at that stage, we can definitely give them, the choice to choose the cabinetry or colors or anything like that, so. And well, from here, the other thing that I wanted to a little bit, show you is kind of how I look at things, how I look in the market, and how I look at different areas when I'm looking at a home to do this kind of work. Okay, because this is obviously a little bit more than a fix and flip, right? So it's just we're talking about obviously a new construction. So, but it works the same way for everything. It works the same way for even for a month or a few weeks project, and in a full new construction like we're gonna do here. Okay, but obviously you know, the kind of things that you gotta look online is kind of the same stuff. You gotta look at the market, research as much as possible,